as of the time of my recording this, Buckethead has released 148 studio albums over the last 3 years, released on an exponential schedule, where at first it was just one every couple of weeks. Now, in the year 2015 at least, he's released an album on average once every 4 days. Why? Now, before I proceed any further, I should make it very clear, as all of you who regularly watch my channel, you know I'm a massive Buckethead fan. I have been for years. I personally think he's one of the greatest living guitarists in the world, both in terms of melodies, technicality, and just overall style, image, weirdness, and just overall just his innocence and his love of what he does. But why is he making so many freaking albums? Because usually when a musical artist makes an album, they say, this is something I've been meticulously crafting for months, even years, and now I've finally gotten it to as close to perfect as I can get it, and I'm releasing all my effort to you to enjoy. Buckethead used to be like that too, but now he's just like, hey, this is something I wrote 2 hours ago, sitting on my couch watching TV. I don't care if you buy it or not, I'm just blah. And to me, it's almost making his music not special, you know? Because I'd say I started getting into Buckethead around the time when Captain EO's Voyage was released, or when Happy Holidays was released. That 2011, 2012-ish period. I forget what time of the year. I remember the very first song I ever heard from Buckethead was Big Sur Moon, but that's a story for another time. But I just remember being so excited when a new album came out. Ooh, a new Buckethead album came out? I gotta search it up on YouTube and listen to the whole thing, and if I really like it, I'm gonna buy it, so Buckethead deserves my money. But now, whenever a new Buckethead album's released, I'm just like, look, a new Buckethead album came out. That's nice. I might watch it later. And if you're wondering, yes, I've listened to the entire Buckethead discography. Took me about 3 weeks to do it, but I got through it. I did a couple videos on my Buckethead CD collection. I might post it in the description below. I have maybe 30 of his albums. At least 30, 14 of which are Pikes. And going back to the whole, I don't know if I brought up quality yet, but I feel like because he's being releasing these albums on such a really rushed schedule, he doesn't have time to really hone in on perfecting his craft. And because of that, the Pikes are a really mixed bag, whereas his studio albums were much more consistently good. Like the good pre-Pikes albums, the regular studio albums. Buckethead Land, Giant Robot, Day of the Robot, Coma, Monsters and Robots. His first 5 albums are all fantastic. Electric Tears is great. Buckethead Land 2 is really fun. Whether or not you want to call it good is up to you, but it's definitely a fun ride. Enter the Chicken was pretty good. Crime Slunk Scene was good. A Real Diamond in the Rough was awesome. Shadows Between the Sky was really awesome. Captain EO's Voyage, my friend told me that that album was the greatest guitar album ever recorded. I don't know about that, but it's still really, really great, light guitar album. Definitely check that one out if you haven't discovered mellow Buckethead yet. Electric Sea, his last regular studio album that wasn't released on his own label, that is like an instant classic as well, better than Electric Tears. And if you love acoustic guitar or mellow electric guitar, definitely check that one out. So I just listed 13 of his albums. So 13 out of the 30 Pikes albums that I consider worth checking out. That's 43.3 repeating percent of his albums being, in my opinion, worth anyone listening to. And now on to the Pikes. Out of all 148 Pikes I've heard so far, there's Pike 5 is probably going to be a future classic. Well, it's probably going to be a cult classic since it's just him noodling. And again, like with Pike 26, Pike 104, there's one good track on both of those albums, and it's the one where he just shreds his heart out for 15 minutes. And when he improvises just 125%, that's the good Pike stuff. That's the stuff worth checking out. But a lot of the Pikes are just, I dare say, lazy, because he's just like, I'm just gonna record something, and done. But anyways, Pike's worth checking out. Pike 13, I actually consider Buckethead's best album. Pike 17's good, 18's good, 31's good, 26. The one track is good, but it takes up half the album, so whatever. 40's good, 41's good, 43's good. Pike 51, there's one good song on that album. Same with Pike 35, there's only one good song on that album. Pike 60 is alright, but it's still, it's kind of slow. It just kind of drags. I feel like he could have done more with that half hour, but for what it is, it's okay. 101's good. 104, like I said, there's one good track, but it takes up half the album. 105 is good, like I said, there's one good track, but it takes up half the album. 122, the first track, that's the only good track on that album, but like I said, it takes up half the album. 128 is really, really nice. It's definitely a great mellow Buckethead record. I wouldn't call it Colma Part 3. It's a little more diverse than that. Pike 31 is more Colma-ish. It's like Colma Part 1.5. I don't want to call it Colma Part 2 because to be deserving of that title, I feel it should be the length of the original, like 50 minutes, whereas that Pike is only 30 minutes. And yeah, so that was like, 15, 17 out of 148, and that's only, 10, 12, 14%? That's not nearly as much as the pre-Pikes albums. And just to use a couple examples, like, I just listed them because I own these Pikes. 116, the first track is 19 minutes, and the first 12 minutes is just improvised delayed chords on a clean guitar with a light drum thing in the background. And at first, it's really exciting because you feel like it's going to build to something. It's going to build to something, and then it just builds to more slow wankery. And then when the fast stuff, and the fast part of the song is actually good, when that part comes in, it feels more like relief than payoff. And I just couldn't get into it after that. Like, if you were gonna do the mellow thing for so long, you should have just made that one separate track. And Pike 117, where it's just him on bass, I mean, it's just him noodling. There's no song structure, there's no pre-arranged melodies that for him to base his riffing off of. It's just, oh, I'm gonna pick up a bass guitar and noodle on it for half an hour, and then I'm just gonna program the drum machine to make it sound like it's pre-composed, even though it's not. And it just feels like he's not trying anymore, you know? And that just kind of worries me. But I feel like, as far as I'm concerned, Buckethead can do whatever he wants, like I said. But Buckethead has to remember, he has fans. He has other people who listen to his stuff and get emotionally attached to it. And I feel like he's losing touch with that because he hasn't performed live in almost 3 years now. So this is what I think Buckethead should do. Now, like I said, he can do whatever he wants, but I feel Buckethead should release 3 to 8 studio albums a year. So that way he has time to meticulously craft it, and instead of making just good ones, he can make awesome ones. And not all the Pikes are good. There's a ton of mediocre Pikes that are very skippable. And then there's just the bad Pikes, just the terrible ones, like Pumpkin and Pikes, that duology, those two are bad. Underground Chamber is horrid. Dreamless Slumber is also horrid. I was considering listing Roller Coaster Track Repair, number 47, I think, but it's so fun, you kind of have to forgive it, just to forgive how ugly and random it is, and how congested it sounds. But I mean, Buckethead, you have fans. I want to see you live at least once in my life, and my life will feel slightly more complete if I see you live. If I'm in the front row and you gave me a toy, I'll frame that thing in a glass box and put it on that mantle right there for all to see. It'll be like one of my most prized possessions. And I mean, there's other albums that great future classics you can make, like Buckethead Land 3. When's that gonna happen? Electric's Ocean, Electric Lake, Electric Pond, Electric Stream, whatever you want to call it. Just a third electric, insert name of body of water here. I want to see it. We all want to see it. Now I know Buckethead recently lost his parents, and that's probably giving him a gigantic creative streak right now. But who knows, maybe him not performing live isn't an emotional thing. Maybe it's a physical thing. Like I know in 2010 he took time off due to a back injury, or was it an illness? I forget. But after a few months, he got better, and he started performing live again, and he started making albums again. Like, that's what Buckethead can do. He can come back, return to, I don't want to say his former glory, because I feel like this is just a different stage in his musical life, but return to, how you say, the classic Buckethead we all know and love, and just return faster, better, just more awesome than ever. But for now, I mean, like I said, I check out every Pike because I'm still hopeful, because some of them are good, but a lot of them are skippable, and some of them are just trash. And I want Buckethead to make consistently good work again, and please all of his fans doing it. Like, his level of album release worries me. It really does. Like, at first it was kind of cool, and I had something to look forward to every couple weeks or so. But now it's just, I don't want to say he's losing his touch. He's not losing his touch. He's not getting worse. If anything, he's better than ever. musically, technically, and just melodically. But I just feel like he's not trying anymore. And I feel like he feels like he doesn't want to be on stage again for whatever reason. I'm afraid I'm never going to see him live. Is he afraid that he's trying to release as much music as possible before he dies or something? I mean, dude, you have like 4 or 5 days worth of music. Like, if I just played all his studio albums right now, like, starting with Buckethead Land, ending with Pike 1 kajillion, it's gonna take like a week for them to play out. So, Bucket, you got enough music on record. You don't have to keep making these as much as you are. Well, something tells me this isn't over. I feel like I have more to say, but I'm kind of blanking out right now. But, who knows? We could continue this discussion in the comments. So, if you leave a comment down there and I feel it's worth replying to, I'll reply to you and we'll see how... I'd like to see what you think about Buckethead releasing all these ridiculous number of albums. So, yeah. I look forward to it. And I guess that's all I have to say about it right now.